it's the Mad Queen. Welcome into the Queen's Lair. Let's talk about Mikasa today. If you are interested in finding out more information and detail about other heroes like this, I do have an entire playlist on my YouTube channel. It's also going to be linked at the very end of this video. It is my All About Heroes Spotlight playlist. Mikasa is a water element legendary hero. She is from the Summoners from Afar faction, and if you don't have her, unfortunately, you will probably not ever be able to get her. She was a limited time hero during the Attack on Titans event, but if you were lucky enough to get a copy of her, she is a really good hero for the most part. And in this video, I'm going to be going over all of her abilities, her base stats, the gear recommendations that you should be building onto her, heroes that can be paired with her to work well, and some different build options as well. I will note that she's level 70, as you can see, and I do have her, you can't tell because my head is in the way, I do have her ascended 3 times. So level 70 is, of course, going to affect some of her base stats. The base stats get higher depending on what level you have them at. So it's going to be a bit different if yours is at 60 or 50, of course. Mikasa's base stats are 1500 attack, 6100 health, 516 defense, 112 speed, and 8% crit rate. This attack is really good. This is honestly on the high side for legendaries on base attack. Her health is also pretty good as well, and the speed isn't bad either. I also have all of the abilities completely maxed out on mine, and all of her glyphs are totally done as well. The green that we have here on the side just shows what we're getting in addition from those glyphs, and also from, I never can remember the name, so we're just going to go there, from the elemental power section. This is also going to play a pretty good part into the stats that you're seeing, and I do have 10 out of 10 maxed on the attack boost that they get. But Mikasa, for her abilities, she has Solemn Pledge as her trait. Mikasa applies Entrusted to the ally with the highest attack at the start of battle and gains morale as long as the ally with Entrusted is alive. When the ally with Entrusted is attacked, she launches a counterattack with the basic ability. Entrusted is when the affected unit is attacked, the applier will launch a counterattack with their basic ability. And morale gains 30% of the entrusted ally's attack. Once that's ascended, Mikasa's focus is increased by 50%, which is really nice. On her first Hurricane Whirl, basic deals 100% damage to one enemy and applies 1 stack of bleeding for 2 rounds. Bleeding is, after each ability cast, takes true damage equal to the applier's attack. Her passive Guardian Spirit, when an ally applies negative effects to an enemy, launches a joint attack with the basic ability. Damage is increased by 20% damage if the target is affected by bleeding already, up to 1 time per turn. So it's not capped at a round, it's just per turn. Lethal Blow, her ultimate, deals 200% damage to one enemy. Damage scales with the number of bleeding stacks on the target. If the target has if they have 6 or more stacks of bleeding on, this ability's cooldown is going to be reduced by 2 turns. Mikasa, as we can tell, is going to deal damage based on how many stacks of bleed the target has. The more stacks that you can get on them, the more damage you're going to do. And I have gotten Mikasa to do 150,000 damage on her ultimate. That's huge. That is huge, huge, huge damage. And when they say lethal blow, it really is. It is honestly, it's really fun to kind of watch and just see what she can do, because it is crazy. As far as her gear, right now she's geared for the guild boss. That is typically the only place I'm using her as of now. But for that, I do have her in a curse set. That way she has the potential to take an extra turn. If she does take an extra turn, it's going to be with her basic ability, which means she's just going to apply another stack of bleeding. If you do not want her to be resisted on the guild boss, you will need between 30 and 40% focus to not be resisted consistently. If you don't have a lot of focus or next to none, that's also going to work. The only thing is she will be resisted occasionally, and that's just missed out damage that you're going to get. On her boots, she has attack percent, crit damage on the ring, attack percent on the necklace. In the subsets here, she has crit rate, crit damage, some speed, crit rate, and some attack. And we have some crit rate, crit damage. The agility doesn't really make a difference for this. But outside of using the warrior or curse set, you could also pair her in a assassin set. That would work really well for her to help her do quite a bit more damage. And you can also look at putting her in a rage set. That's going to be really if you're having trouble getting the crit rate you need. If you need her to be faster, you can put her in a raider set. And if you have a really, really good raptor set, you could also use one raptor set. And I'm not saying that that's going to be necessarily your best option. Hopefully you can get that in your substats. But if you have, I don't know, say a pair of attack percent boots with crit rate, crit damage, speed, and then you have another piece of raptor that's also pretty good, you could use them. If you're going to play with her in arena, or if you're going to try to use her in any dungeon content, you will need for her to have quite a bit more focus than the 30 or 40%. She's probably going to need close to 100% focus if you're going to use her in either of those places. Taking a look at her overall stats, she has 5100 attack, 142 speed, 100% crit rate, and 289% crit damage. You can also see that I only have 6% focus on her as well. I could be doing more damage if I were to go ahead and build out a bit more focus, which might be something I do later on. You want to make sure that when you put her on a team, she is the last one going. This is really important because if you're pairing her with the right heroes, which should be heroes like Scarlet, Barclay, Helmar, it's going to be any heroes that are able to consistently apply bleeding effect to the enemy. That way she can come in with her lethal blow and just completely destroy them. I mean, her damage is pretty insane. If you're wondering about doing masteries on her, I would not prioritize her. Of course, it is going to help you get more of a boost overall. But as far as prioritizing her, honestly, I would put her within the 20 to 30 mark if you're able to get to that point. She's going to be really good without you doing your masteries, but there's going to be other heroes you're going to benefit from much more than you would from Mikasa using your masteries. And it is pretty hard to get those legendary books, so you want to make sure you're definitely using those efficiently. Let's go ahead and take a look at her ratings. I'm going to rate her in every place here in the game. I want to mention as well that you shouldn't, in game, you shouldn't always pay attention to these ratings. A lot of people I don't know how some of these heroes get the ratings they do. Sometimes they should be high and they're low, and sometimes they should be low and they're high. So you just get people that don't quite understand the hero that are rating them, or they're trying to rate them in the early game and they don't fully understand how they are after you start progressing and use the hero. So in arena offense, I will give her 4 stars. Arena defense, I'm going to give her 2 stars. In the No Man's Land Bane Wraith, she's a weak affinity here, so I'm going to give her 1 star. In the Flame Lizard, I'll give her a 5-star. In the Wraithful Flood, 4 stars. No Man's Land Lord of Holy Light, I do actually use her here. She's very good, 5 stars. In the Shadow Captive, 4 stars. So she does work really good in the Shadow Captive as well. I've used her there many times. The only thing is that with the team she needs to be good, they have a hard time surviving in the Shadow Captive, but they can do a really, really good job. As far as Roaring Tulpa, again, she's a weak affinity here. I'm going to give her 1 star. Ash Magisteria, I'm going to give her 2 stars. She does not deal any kind of AoE damage. As we know, in Ash, he summons a bunch of fire imps that you have to take out. If you don't, they're basically going to wipe you out because they do a significant amount of damage. She's not going to be able to help you take care of those. So that's why I don't understand, again, why she has a 4.7 here. It doesn't make any sense. For the Arcane Dominator, Queen of Tides, I will give her a 5-star here. She is really good here. Witch of the Wind, 5 stars. Gemini Dragon, this is very dependent on the stage, and it's always really hard for me whenever I'm rating Gemini because we all know that Poison Comp rules there, but I am going to give her 4 stars because with the right team and the right setup and the right gear, she can be useful in helping you with your progression in the Gemini. Her team is able to clear stage 12. So that's something to keep in mind. And for the Armored Incursion, which is the Banker or the Guild Boss, 5 stars. This is where I've gotten her to do 150,000 damage from her ultimate ability. And if you're playing it out just right, she will be able to get that amount of damage about every 2 or 3 turns, which adds up really, really quickly. And it's really nice to help you progress. And if you're having trouble unlocking your second team in the Guild Boss, she's going to be really good with those bleed effect heroes that I mentioned. If you have any questions or comments, anything that I may have forgotten to add, or any kind of advice that I may not have mentioned, leave that in the comments. Let me know how you guys are using Mikasa if you have her. I really wish that everyone had the opportunity to get her, but I also do enjoy when games bring out limited heroes. I think it's nice for players that have been around a long time and people that have been playing very dedicatedly. Hopefully we're going to see more heroes come out in limited events, but we'll have to see. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.